bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Good afternoon to you and yours. It is The Bottom Line, 100.7 The Score, TSportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff in for Choice, because now Tuesdays are his new Fridays. Sitting alongside Coach Trent Hilliard, Lucas White across the way, and Evelina Rose behind the glass, sliding slides, pushing buttons for us, taking care of us on the program. Get your thoughts in on the Yates Flooring Center Chatline, TSportsNetwork.com, or the 100.7 The Score mobile app, which you can download for free wherever your apps may be sold from. You can also, by the way, give us a call on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973. Coach, I'll be honest, I like when the guys do this. They don't know that I like when they do this. They're probably hearing it now, so they're going to find out about it now. A lot of times you'll come into the control room, the studio in here, and there'll be something random on the television.
Right.
And it's usually sports-adjacent randomness, but it's not like anything like that I would be locked into. Coming in to see Texas Tech taking on Kansas from last year's football game in a replay, yeah. They could do this more often. I'd be okay with that. This is the kind of like background noise that I would. I almost wish we could put that screen here as well. And I'm pointing we had a screen behind us for just people listening on the radio for when you're watching on Fox 34 News Now, over the air 34.2, or on Optimum. I don't remember. I think it's Channel 9 still on Optimum, but don't quote me on that. I could be wrong. But or on the YouTube channel if you're watching there as well. You'll see that screen behind us. It's just a monitor. I could put that feed here in theory
right.
if I had everything there hooked up over here. And then everybody could see what we're watching, and they would also be doing the same thing we're doing right now and looking at it going, yeah, this was fun times. We're allowed to do this again. And again, and again, and again, and again, and again.
Good game to have, good game to watch.
So speaking of good news, I guess, out there's a couple of pieces of good news right now. You want the football or the basketball news?
We'll start with the football.
Football. When I say the Jordan Brooks to you, what is your first thought, Coach?
Great linebacker, great tackler.
And All-Pro,
That's
Miami
right.
Dolphin.
Yep.
We've supported him since he left here when he was drafted by Seattle in the first round, and everybody went, ooh, hang on a minute. That was a nice unexpected surprise when that happened, and did some really good things in Seattle, got released from the contract he was doing there and picked up with the Dolphins. And Dolphins made some big changes in the offseason, kind of wondering what was going to happen with Jordan Brooks. And, well, they've decided to extend him for 3 years and $51.3 million.
That's nice. So he's, I guess if anybody can earn that type of money, then he's one of those guys that has earned it. By his play, and I've said before, I think he's one of the most underrated Red Raiders. He kind of got forgotten. I don't know if it's through the COVID time, through what, but man, he has certainly thrived in the NFL and led the league in tackles twice, maybe.
That is at least. I know he did last year, and
I think he did once with Seattle.
Year.
Yeah,
I think it was with Seattle his second year that he did it there too. I could be wrong on that, but yeah, 183 combined. 183 combined tackles, 99 of them solo last season, and being named to the first team All-Pro. Now, All-Pro is different than Pro Bowl.
Right. Yeah.
There's only one at each position, All-Pro.
Yeah. And
that's not one you turn down. So Jordan Brooks going off and doing good things for the Miami Dolphins and getting recognized for it. So congratulations to him, and hopefully he can teach a couple other Red Raiders that are there now and show them how to be an NFL player. And I am a Cowboy fan first, but we have definitely added the Miami Dolphins onto the list of teams, and I'm like, so how'd they do this week? Okay, good. Look at all those tackles and defensive plays that they made over there. Oh, and the wide receiver touchdowns that could be fun as well.
It seems like the Dolphins have always kind of had a Red Raider on their team throughout years. I can remember going way back. One of my favorite old school guys and played there was Andre Tillman. And, and so, he played a long time way back, and so kind of became a Dolphins fan because of him, and then just follow other Red Raiders, and they've had a few of them there come through, and
my fandom with them probably starts with Zach Thomas, and took a hiatus for a while. I guess they've had a couple of guys since then, but in general, that's kind of when that started for me for the Dolphins. I'm a Cowboys fan first. Like there's I want Jordan Brooks to have a good game. I just want the Dolphins to lose at that point when they're playing the Cowboys. And now with Jacob Rodriguez there as well. It's going to be same kind of thing. Y'all can have a bunch of tackles. Just miss 2 so that the receiver running back can score a touchdown. We'll all be fine. But yeah, the replay of the Tech-Kansas game up right now. And Tech's about to go up 18-0 on a field goal, if I remember correctly. And it's good because, the anticipation is just breathtaking right now. Other good news, and if you're a basketball fan, this has been kind of late breaking today, I should say, because it broke between 9 and now. USC Texas Tech meeting up on the basketball court. I think when I first heard that it was USC, I was like, oh, they're finally announcing that non-conference game for football.
Right.
Because it was USC that was wet, and I was like, oh, no, that's a B. That's not an F. That is definitely a B for basketball and not an F for football. But Texas Tech and USC looking like they're going to be playing December 13th in Fort Worth at the Dickies Arena. Trojans have been trying to boost up their non-conference schedule. Texas Tech men's basketball also been trying to do the same, so it probably a natural fit for both of them. And we'll be looking for a final announcement from Tech on that, for one that probably gets inked and everybody approves of it and get to move on from there. So good stuff for that. I don't know that that's I'm going to make sure I travel to Dickies Arena for that, but it will definitely be one that I make sure I kick back and watch, because that'll be a good test for how this basketball team will look early on as they sit with a new roster.
Right. Now, is that a Saturday or Sunday?
Why do you ask me a question
do you know?
I should know the answer to on a calendar?
I know sometimes it is it's a Sunday game that we've played there. Part
December
of their
13th is a Sunday.
Sunday, okay. Part of the deal that they had. I think the TCU women played maybe UConn there last year as part of that deal as well, and so Dickies Arena is a nice place to play. And even though USC doesn't bring a basketball name, they do bring a name out there that provides interest and be good, and I guess we've got a good relationship going with them. If this football thing hopefully happens as well, and that would be fun to get them on the schedule more and get a little rivalry going, and let's get some baseball added to that.
Best part about that week, Cowboys are off.
There we go.
So you're not missing a Cowboys game. How about that? It's like they knew.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, Double T, SportsNetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff, Trent, and Evelina taking care of us today. Behind the glass, she's the first voice you hear on the Visual Edge IT hotline, 806-771-0973. Evelina, say hi so that people will know it is you when they call.
Hello.
See, that's what you're going to get when you call. She's going to be nicer than that, though. Like, it's not going to be, hi, Double T 97.3. That's how she's going to be, because that's what she was trained for, and she follows her instructions very well. Can you tell I like Evelina? Like, as an employee, she's done a good job. You should be getting used to her. She's going to be around a while. She's not like just one of those summer intern things. She's going to be like here in the fall and stuff. I'm not breaking any news, right? I didn't think so. So, Coach, you and I remember a time before the dark days when the Texas Tech offense involved run to the left, run to the right, run up the middle, and most likely punt. And that's not a knock on Spike Dykes, but that was what the knock was the last year, was Spike Dykes. That It was run to the left, run to the right, run up the middle, punt. However, there's a couple of big awards that you've won with some of those running backs in the past that I'm not too sure might not be out of the realm of contention for the group you've got currently. So let me ask you this. In all your years of watching Texas Tech football, conceptually, obviously, because we don't know yet, is this the best running back room Texas Tech has ever had as a collective room? I remember some two-headed monsters.
Right.
I remember a beast back room. I don't remember a room like this.
I would say potentially. We'll have to see. But you go back to the late 80s when you had James Gray running and you had Anthony Lynn as the backup. Pretty good group. You know, when your backup goes on and plays for years in the NFL and eventually becomes a head NFL coach and years as a coordinator in doing that. But that group, and I can't remember if Irvin Ferris was with both of those at one time. But another fullback, I mean, that group, of course, you also ran the ball a lot more back
in
the
then.
80s.
Everybody did.
Yeah, then you did. But that group overall, because you did have multiple guys that could come in. I think maybe even Anthony McDowell may have been as part of that group at some point, and so you had some big time running back guys that went to the NFL as well. So I think this group has that potential. Joyner is. Everybody's kind of forgotten about him because of the year that the other two had last year, and that Quentin Joyner was supposed to be the starter until he got hurt in the preseason, and so if he can come back and be 100%, obviously. Hammond's supposed to be back, and so Joyner had his surgery before. A little different when you're a running back as opposed to a quarterback, and what you have to do with those knees and rehab and be able to go. But yeah, if he comes back and shows any flashes of what he made him so highly recruited and what he's able to do at USC and be projected as our number one here, then yeah, this group has potential to be the best running back group, And dadgummit, Will Hammond may just add another runner back there. Again, don't want to throw him out there, but you can't take away from what he does so well, and that's run the ball. He's so fast. So you can have him do a lot of things as well back there, so that'll make everybody effective. So yeah, got to find ways to get them all the football. That's a good problem to have when you've got so many guys and receivers and tight ends and everybody that you can get the ball to that can go and make plays for you.
My what's the word I'm looking for? Texas Tech fandom really started in the '97 season when I first came up here.
Okay.
So there's still some really good running backs that I got to see that were here. I'm going back and actually looking to make sure I'm not missing anybody. Obviously, Ricky Williams was a freshman that year. And actually had a class with Ricky.
Okay.
So when he comes in after getting hurt, man, I mean, you could just feel the entire room was like, oh, because they knew.
Yeah.
And, he was almost a 1,000-yard rusher before he got hurt. Like, he was phenomenal to watch. So that's where it starts for me. I mean, obviously there were some really good rooms, running back rooms before then. You don't win the Doak Walker Award without it.
Yeah.
That's just not a thing that you win if you don't have a good running back. So you've had some really, really good ones. Sammy Morris comes to mind, or Bam Morris, depending on how you want to, which version of him you want to talk about, I guess is the way to put it. But I just look at how loaded this running back. I can't go back and look at a group like a three-headed monster. Not two-headed, not two with a third guy that could be good in a couple of years, but three position one running backs, I guess is the way to put it,
Right.
that are interchangeable with one another in their own styles, but also just as effective as the others are in their own style. It's kind of why I'm not really worried who your starting quarterback is. It's kind of an offense I think I could run. Oh, here, take it. I'll just hand you the ball and let you go that way. Especially the first couple of weeks. If you were to tell me right now that Texas Tech does not throw the football once in the first two games, okay, not concerned.
Right.
Now that's not always the case. Like there is a large portion of the fan base that is still looking for the
Yeah. Can go back to the air raid.
Sorry. No. Hang on. Wait a minute. Something is being said on the chat line that I really do think is fundamentally wrong, but I'm not going to call him out on it yet. He may be right, and if he's right, I will say it. Like, that's not the issue of what's going on here.
How about the Morris?
Yeah, but well, look at me, I am an idiot. I don't just play one on the radio. Why did I think Van Morris's first name was Sam? Why did I think that? So they are two different people. So two different things. Yeah. Huh. What a day.
Sammy Morris actually came to Tech initially as a quarterback. He's kind of one of those guys that kind of like Crabtree was. You take your best athlete and they played quarterback in high school.
Yeah.
And so when Sammy Morris came, he was, a quarterback in high school that recruited as an athlete, and then he ended up playing some tailback for us, and then fullback for us, and then he kind of switched positions, and that's one of the things Spike did such a good job of, is kind of adapting. And so when we had some injuries, then kind of featured him, and he was monumental in a victory we had over the Aggies here. I can't remember the year, but I think we beat them 21-19, and Aggies were ranked top 5, 6 in the country, something like that. And so Sammy did a great job of adjusting. Of course, then we had the big touchdown reception at A&M that people remember, and it's very similar running down that right side that Wes Welker then did.
Very similar
later,
portions of the game, yes.
Yeah, so a big thing from Zebby, I believe, that made the pass out to him. So,
yep. To give the texture credit where credit is due, Charlie was right. And I have no problem admitting when I'm wrong. Or maybe just confused, but that's a normal state of being. How did I screw that up? Sammy played at New England, Cliff with Cliff Kingsbury, Cliff with a K, but I'm assuming spell check got you. And Bam played for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Which one you want to use?
So hi, I don't just play an Indian on the radio. I really am.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It is the Bottom Line, 100.7 The Score, Double T Sportsnetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Jeff in for Choice, because apparently Tuesday's the new Friday. Sitting alongside Jamie Lent and Lucas White across the way, sliding slides, pushing buttons for just all day long, Jamie.
See, I think it's a curse. Every time you take a shot at Choice being on vacation,
It hasn't just been that. I wish it was just that today.
Choice is, he's not coming back. I didn't tell you this.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's not coming back.
He's going to become a Yankees fan?
The Yankees are 1-0 with him in attendance. And so I've bought him season tickets, and he is not allowed to leave.
And also tickets for the road trips. So he's got to go on all the road trips, too, right?
Yeah.
Have you let Joey McGuire know?
He doesn't care.
Okay. What about Brian Jensen? He might.
He doesn't care.
That being said, Evelina's still here too, by the way. She's sitting in the sidecar now.
She surely doesn't care.
She definitely doesn't care. And it's time for Jamie's question of the day.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day on 100.7 The Score. Presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard, your water shouldn't be.
Okay. Last season, Texas Tech football allowed 11.8 points per game. Last season, Texas Tech football scored 39.4 points per game. In 2026, which one of those will be closer to what it was last year? Points scored per game or points allowed per game?
Man. I'm going to say points per game. But it's close. And I think
Points
this is a good question.
Scored?
Yeah, points scored.
Okay, gotta be specific there.
Yeah, points scored per game. I do think you are going to give up probably at least another 6 points a game defensively. And, oh, by the way, that's still a really good defense if that's where you end up at the end of the year. That's going to be nothing to sneeze at. It was just so dominant of a defense last year. But your offense was really potent last year. You just struggled at times. And I think you're going to, and when you struggled,
AKA
it was
the Orange Bowl.
Well, yeah. Or in some red zone situations where you would march down the field, you get to the 20, and you're like, okay, we're good. Like there was some of that last year. I feel like this is going to be or I'm hoping, maybe I would be a better way to describe this, a more neutral attack with regards to what your offense can do, where it's not going to be so feast or famine. That it's going to be more consistent. That's the word I'm looking for. But hit the same number because you won't have to score a whole lot more points.
Okay. Lucas?
I'm going to go with the defense. I think there's more additions to the offense that we have questions about. The receivers, I mean, they're very talented. They came from great schools. But I think our defense is going to, I'm going to say, allow around 14.5 points per game.
Okay.
So I think the defense is definitely going to be equivalent to the same it was last year. So I'm going to go with the defense is going to have a closer giving up points per game than offense. I think offense can score high 20s, but I think the defense is going to be better.
Okay. I think I lean towards saying offense is going to be closer to the number. I think I'm probably right around where Jeff is, maybe a little bit less. So thinking you'll give up maybe about 5 points per game more. I think you'll be a little bit short of last year's offensive numbers because I think you'll be more run-oriented this year. So you'll run less plays. But less experience at the quarterback position. So I then ask myself, and I'll ask you guys the same question, do you think you're going to be worse in both of those numbers compared to last season? You think you are going to give up more per game and score less per game?
No, I think you're going to score more per game. I'm definitely thinking you're going to give up more points on defense. Like, the number last year is so insane for how good they were. Like, giving up 3 more points, you're still an elite level defense.
Sure.
Like, elite, I'm not saying good. I'm saying elite level defense giving up another field goal a game. And that would be giving up more points.
What about you, Lucas? You think you're worse in both areas?
I do.
I do too.
Yeah.
I don't think it's drastically different on the offensive side. Just I don't think it's drastically different on the defensive side. But when you're at 11.8, and if you add 5 to that, that's I'm not a mathematician, not even going to try, but it's like somewhere around like 40% or something, right?
Yeah.
That's a lot.
Neighborhood. Yeah.
That's a lot, right? Okay. But yet, so I sit here today and say you're probably going to be a little bit worse in both areas, yet I still think you're a 12-0 team. And it's not because I think the Big 12 is pathetic. I just think you're going to play it differently. I don't think you're, will be as explosive on offense. Jeff, you talked about it being hit or miss or up and down, all that kind of stuff. I just think with your propensity to run the football and with a less experienced quarterback, you're probably not going to put him in situations all the time where you want the game. You don't want to have to say coming into every game, hey, Will Hammond has to be great for us to win this football game. Will Hammond's got to throw for 360 yards for us to win this football game. I don't think that's the game plan that you want. Now, There may be a game every once in a while where that has to happen, but I don't think you go in saying that. And so because of that, I think you throw the ball less. I think you're probably just a little less explosive in that regard. And so maybe instead of 39.4, you're 38 or 37 per game. But I think it's less.
Okay, so follow up to all of this. Will Hammond's best game will be in the last 3 games of the season.
Well, those are 3 tough ones, 3 important ones. They're all important, but just because you think they'll have more confidence in him and they'll let him air it out then? Because
he will have, in this scenario, been healthy all year long and gotten first rep snaps all year long. I don't look at this as a season where it's going to be a plateau. I think it's going to be a gradual increase all season long. And if I had to pick where his best game would be for what he does, maybe not the best numbers game, but the game where you're like, okay, Will Hammond's in control of this game and he's doing whatever he wants to do, it'll be in those last 3 games.
Okay.
Maybe I'm crazy. Mm-hmm. Because I've been definitely crazy already today.
I just love your confidence that he's going to be healthy all season.
I'm starting...
Because we're Texas Tech and,
That doesn't always happen.
That doesn't happen with your quarterback.
I'm more worried at the start of the year for Will Hammond than I am at the end of the year, at least as we sit today.
That makes sense. You would think he's going to continue to improve the more reps and experience he gets.
This off the 8th Scoring Center chat line. I think the defense will be closer. I think the offense will score more per game than they did last year. This news alert. We ran the ball a lot last year. Yeah.
Yep, we did.
But if you don't run the ball more this year, you are wasting a very good running back room. Now, I also think that you're going to be able to do some different things with special teams because of these guys now. I think that your return game could be a lot better because assuming all 3 of these guys are healthy, that's where your biggest jump will be. But yeah, no, we ran the ball a lot. We also had a defense that said, oh, look, we're going to force a turnover on the 30. Go find 25 yards. And they could do that.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I do not need you to tell me I am crazy, and you get another opportunity to tell me I'm wrong here on the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, TSportsNetwork.com, and the Double T and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Yates Flooring Center chat line is open and available for you to do said telling me I am wrong. Thanks. Texas Tech up now 42-17. I like that final, by the way. There's 3 minutes left in the game. I trust in that final for this game from the Kansas game last year. Played at home. Cam Dickey, your 263 yards rushing, 5th most in a game in school history. This just in, he was pretty good last year at times. Basically, all the time.
Yes.
So, gentlemen, this is an opportunity for you to tell me I am wrong. And Anna Valina, if you're still back there, she's gone. She didn't want to hang out with us anymore. I get it. I think this one's pretty simple. Texas Tech will rush for 2,000 yards this year. Tell me I'm wrong.
The number last year, Jeff, was?
Off the top of my head, I do not know. I kind of picked this number off the top of my head and went, this sounds like a fun number.
Let me think about this.
I am looking for the number. Grand total last year. Oh, I should, let me rephrase this. Because you rushed for 2,560 last year as a team. Let's bump that up to 3,000 yards. You're going to rush for 500 more yards as a team this year. Baron Morton lost 113 yards rushing last year. If that helps.
Almost none of them on rush plays.
Almost none of them on rush plays, yes.
But it somehow goes against rushing yards.
It does.
Yeah, I'll...
3,000 yards.
400 more per game over 14, 15, 16 games. I'll say yes. I'll say yes.
Are we putting too much faith in our running backs then? Hang on, don't answer that yet. Lucas, 3,000 yards rushing for the Red Raiders offense.
I'm going to say no, but it's going to be really close. I'm going to say, just right off the top of my head, about 2,800.
Is that what you would have said before I told you the number last year?
If we play in 15,
Yeah.
If we play in 15 games, that's one more than last year. It's 29 yards per contest. The number is basically 440 yards more. Okay? If we play in 14 games, it's only 31 yards more. Yeah.
And I also think that at the beginning of the year, you're going to be running a lot more, depending on what's going on with your quarterback. And trying to end those games early. Like, time-wise for the games, not like... I think they're going to be over when you snap the football, but that doesn't mean you still have to run the clock out.
Mm-hmm.
And maybe I'm making too much of this running attack for this Red Raider football team this year. Maybe I'm looking at one guy who's coming off a massive season injury and not factoring that in enough. Maybe I'm factoring in that all three of them are going to stay healthy, that Will Hammond isn't going to be ready week 1, which at this point, I know we have heard from Coach Joey McGuire in a press conference setting. I know we have heard from Joey McGuire in a Big 12 Media Day setting. I know we've heard from Joey McGuire in booster meetings saying that Will Hammond will be ready week 1. I will believe that when I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not to say that I think Joey McGuire is a liar, that I think that he is getting our hopes up and trying to dash them on week 1. This has everything to do with until they snap that football, I am not believing that Will Hammond's ready to go week 1. He may be ready to go. I'm not saying that's a zero chance, that there's no way he's going to be ready to go week 1. I'm not betting the farm on him being ready week 1. I'm not betting $50 that he is ready to go on week 1. I will be pleasantly surprised if he is, and enjoy watching him play in week 1. When it comes to the quarterback position, before you get to game week, I believe zero things that Joey McGuire and the coaching staff say about the quarterback competition or health of quarterbacks or anything involving the quarterback other than the fact that we have one on the roster.
I expect Will Hammond to start week 1.
And that's great. And I hope he does. I do think he'll be there by week 3. I think week 3 is where I have circled where I think he's going to start and be healthy at that point. And if he's ready by week 2 or week 1, I will be pleasantly surprised and cheering him on.
Mm-hmm.
But with me expecting a not Will Hammond starting quarterback, it will be, oh, look, here, you take the ball, run that way. Okay, your turn now, you take the ball, run that way. Hey, look what we're doing and just marching down the field against Abilene Christian and Oregon State. and be perfectly okay getting wins that way. I am not one of the Red Raider fans out there that has to ask the question, how many times did we throw the football in the game? I do not care if the number is 0, if you're winning.
That sounds boring.
It does sound boring, but I also put the caveat on there at the end, if you're winning. For a while, there were coaches here that were running the ball too much. If you throw the football every play or if you run the football every play, if you're winning, it does not bother me. But it's got to be effective. And shortening games, running the clock down to 4 or 5 seconds on the snap, really making it so your defense can just absolutely be dominant and then go sit down for 10 minutes because of game time because you're running that much off the clock, sign me up. Sign me up for your defense being able to do that kind of thing. You will not offend me in any way if that's what your offense is capable of doing with this running back attack. And I think you've got that. Now, we're going to see week 1, and you run for 150 yards, and we're going to come in on that Tuesday afterwards and be like, what happened to the running game? And I'm going to be just as confused as everybody else. This is what I'm expecting for the upcoming season for you to be able to do. So 3,000 yards is not out of the reach, especially when I thought it was 2,000 yards to begin with, and I look at what you ran for last year, when I thought you had a good running attack, and it could be just that much better. Your splits last year, Cam Dickey had 1,124. Jacoby Williams had 868. Will Hammond was your third leading rusher with just shy of 300 at 299. Adam Hill was your third place running back with 240 yards. And then over 60s, 35s kind of range go after that. Which with Baron Morton being minus 113. That really should be a passing number. It really should.
It should go against team passing yards.
Yes. The only time I would say it should go against the running back as a running is if it's the end of the game and you're taking a knee.
Yeah, I don't.
Because then it's like -2. Like, I'm totally okay with him doing that because you're...
Yeah, you're also not trying to throw the ball then.
Right.
If a quarterback is running a designed run play and he gets tackled behind the line of scrimmage, I'm fine with you calling that against your running attack. But if he's dropping back to pass and he gets sacked, it's not a run play. That's how the NFL does it.
And I like it better.
The NFL stat system is better than the college system.
Is that the only thing you think the NFL does better? Because you like the clock in college better than in the NFL.
No.
I thought you did.
No, I like the clock better.
You like the overtime in college better?
I like the overtime in college better.
What was the other thing? What's the other big difference? Obviously, there's no targeting in the NFL, which makes that different. But they have their own way of dealing with the targeting type play, which I think makes more sense for the way it's described. Okay. It goes into the unnecessary...
I think they have targeting. They just don't have... You're not booted out of a game immediately for it.
Coming up, your fact of the day, and I'm going to give you a hint. It may or may not be about a game we've been talking about today. So it's a fact you already know, but you may have forgotten. It's the bottom line. 100.7 The Score, Double T Sportsnetwork.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
That music can mean one thing and one thing only, that it's time for your most interesting fact of the day. The most interesting fact of the day brought to you by Dos Equis and the most interesting man in the world. Welcome back, sir. I missed you. I don't know if everybody else did, but I'm glad you're back. You're fun, and I like fun. We've been talking about the Texas Tech 42-17 win over Kansas today from last season. This was the knife game. This was a game that was at times a lot closer than what the final score showed for sure. When Kansas scored 17 points in the second quarter, making it a much more interesting contest at halftime. And then Tech's defense absolutely shuts out the Jayhawks in the second half of that game. Interesting facts from that game that I had forgotten. And with a 42-17 final score, not sure I would have thought of. Kansas had more first downs than the Red Raiders did. They were clearly not as effective on offense, being short 200 yards of total yards, 505 to 319. But what caused me to bring up this game's stats, I'm sitting here watching the game and kind of with one eye and running the show here and hanging out with Jamie and Trent and Lucas and Evelina today. And I keep seeing flags thrown. And I kept looking, and it was Kansas that they were getting thrown against. In this game, Texas Tech was thrown a flag on 7 times for 77 yards. Kansas, 6 penalties for 45 yards. I would have said that it was almost double for the way the game had gone. A number of times I'd seen Kansas flags. I just must have missed all of the Tech flags in this game in the passive way we've been watching it today. So there's your 2 most interesting facts. Passing yards, by the way, in this game. If I told you Tech won this game with 133 yards passing, would you believe me?
It's not a lot. But when you go, 75 yards on the ground on the first play from scrimmage, when you...
372 total on the ground. Yeah. You don't have to run it a lot.
What was Cam Dickey's number?
285 is what I thought I saw.
I was thinking 280. So, yeah.
Let me get to the actual box score here as opposed to the team stats. Cam Dickey, 263, average of 12.5 yards a play, scored 2 touchdowns with a long of 71. 21 carries for the day. Will Hammond, 8 carries for 61 yards and 2 touchdowns as well, including a 20-yarder. Jacoby Williams, 9 carries for 48 yards, and his long was a 15. So, yeah, you were having a good day running the ball. This is also a game where both Baron Morton and Will Hammond completed 7 passes. Baron Morton, 7 for 12. Will Hammond, 7 for 16. Neither one of them breaking 100 yards passing. Fun game. And now it's Oregon and Penn State, which I have much less interest in.
It was the start of the demise of Penn State.
This year. I think the demise started a few years back when they had their problems. I don't know that have they fully recovered?
Well, I mean, they've been a good team for 4 or 5 years. They've been playoff contender or whatever. But then last year, they were a top 10 team, lose a game, and then all of a sudden go on a, whatever it was, 4 or 5 game losing streak.
And we were talking about the Oregon team earlier, and they were a good football team. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that Oregon was a bad football team when it came to the Orange Bowl. I think they had a much better game plan than you did and out-executed their game plan compared to what your game plan was. I don't know that they were the better team.
Mm-hmm.
But that's just me. And
yeah, I think I lean towards thinking Oregon was the better team. But they definitely executed the game plan better than the Red Raiders did.
I was just so frustrated, like everybody was at that game. And I don't know why I'm bringing it up, because we just watched them beat Kansas 42-17, and that was fun. It's because I'm seeing Oregon again. That's what the issue is. If it wasn't the Oregon game, I wouldn't be thinking about it now. Rangers and White Sox tonight. Rocker on the mound for the Rangers. Is he getting a bad rap?
Well, he's not having a great season. You're just looking for him to take steps forward, right? To get better, and as many opportunities as he's getting, and just feels like there's not been a big step forward.
There's nothing there I disagree with. He hasn't taken the step forward. He's also not been on the team for 6 years. He's still a young pitcher learning how to pitch at the major league level. I also think he's completely miscast as a starter. There's something about Rocker that I look at, and it screams to me closer.
Okay.
He needs to be the guy coming out of the bullpen in the ninth. That he needs to be coming in, I don't want to say Mariano Rivera-esque. I'm thinking more Mitch Williams before he went crazy. Kind of mantra. That his effectiveness is in short bursts rather than in a starting rotation. And when they talked about this offseason making him a starter, my very first thought was, why on God's green earth would you want to do that when he can be your closer for the next decade if you let him be? That he can be that. I know he's a number one pick, and I know he's a starting pitcher at Vanderbilt. I know he's a good one there. But I kind of feel like the John Smoltz type atmosphere, how dangerous can he be when you're only facing him for 3 outs a game?
Possibly.
Has the entire arsenal that he's got.
If he's got the mental makeup for that kind of pressure, though.
Yeah, maybe. And I'm not in the kid's head, so I don't know. But that just where I see him as closer and not starter. Flipping over, do the Astros win the series tonight?
That might be just because he's not having a ton of success as a starter.
Yeah.
And so you're thinking to yourself, anything could be better, right?
No, because, again, this was an off-season decision. And I was like, why? Why is that the way you're going with this? Not that he wasn't blowing the doors off me as a starter last year either, but his stuff just screams closer to me.
Okay.
Flipping over the Astros and the Marlins tonight. The Astros get their series win? I mean, the Marlins aren't a good team.
Yeah, I would guess yes.
That will be pleasant for the Astros fans to get a hold of a win post-All-Star break, especially after getting swept right afterwards against the Orioles. Then everybody's got Thursday off, which as a sports fan, I'm not a fan of. I don't like when every Texas team is off on the same day.
Yeah, I don't think they worry too much about their in-state teams.
NBA does this all the time, too. And there was somebody critical of me when I've said this before. We have 3 NBA teams here that we talk about. It's mainly Mavericks and Spurs, don't get me wrong, but occasionally the Rockets come up. When all 3 are off on the same day, 3 weeks in a row, that's a problem for me. That's also the NBA stretching out their season with 3 off days between games because they want the Thursday night game to be special. So if you played on Tuesday and you're not playing Thursday, you don't play again until Friday. There's a lot of that going on that doesn't need to be. But 3 teams all off on the same day. The 2 teams is bad. 3 teams is ridiculous to me. One of them can be playing the Pistons today. It would be okay. You're allowed. I'm ranting. We're going to talk about pet peeves on the morning drive. That's another one. When everybody in your state is off on the same day during baseball season or basketball season, that one of you couldn't play a game today, so we have something to watch.
Yeah.
This is a big state, and it's not like one team being off. Although there's not. Milwaukee has the Brewers. They don't have an American League team anymore because they moved them to the National League. So I guess Milwaukee only has one pro baseball team. California's got way more than one. New York has more than one. Illinois has more than one. Texas has more than one. St. Louis only has one. Missouri / Kansas, depending on how your fan base wants to sit there. Florida's got 2. Who am I missing? Colorado's got 1.
Pennsylvania has 2.
Pennsylvania's got 2. Phillies and Pirates. Both in the National League, oddly enough. Didn't split them up like you. Well, I guess no, you put the Rangers and Astros together, didn't you?
Well, they were separate for a long time.
Boys to Men means it's time to go home, Jamie. So we should do that. Tech Talk on the way on Double T 97.3 ESPN Radio. Coming up next for Lucas, for Trent, for Jamie, Jeff McGuire filling in for Choice Woodman. We're out of here. See you later.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.